What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the City Life Project YouTube channel for yet another picks, preview, and predictions video covering UFC Fight Night Burns vs. Morales. And we're going to cover the entire card, starting with the prelims all the way to the main event. I'll give the preview of the entire card, my picks, some of the good underdogs that I think you guys should hit on, should add to your parlays, maybe, especially the degenerate parlay, which we'll get to at the end of the show here. There's a few options for degenerate parlays. There's some pretty good underdogs here. And Volcan gave us a pretty good safe parlay on the Luke stream last night. If he's in the chat, ask him nicely and he'll share that. But anyways, let's get right into it. And I'll check in on some of the comments throughout this. And then we're going to jump over to the Octagon stream. The prelims are on right now. A couple good knockouts right out of the gate. I believe there's like 4 or 5 more prelims, and then it's like 4 more prelims, and then there's a pretty good main card, the Shem Show, in I believe the co-main event or featured fight. Anyways, some good fights on that card. We're gonna go over and cover the end of the prelims and the entire main card after this. Let's get into the first one here. We got Luana Pinheiro against Tisha Pennington. I'm gonna go Tisha Pennington on this one. No, she's a little bit smaller. She's kind of just small for the division. She's one of those that, again, if we had Adam weight, could probably absolutely dominate. Maybe not at 35 years of age, but just given her frame. Having said that, she's just better everywhere than Pinheiro. Like, I haven't been impressed with Pinheiro. She's been losing. I mean, what more is there to say? Pennington is the better wrestler. She's got the better striking. Again, is she stronger? Size-wise, you would have you to believe no, but yeah, she is pretty strong in the clinch as well. I mean, yeah, she's fought better competition throughout her entire career, 14-7, and then coming back after having a kid, actually looked really good against Tabitha Ritchie. I mean, most of the MMA community who watched that fight says, you know, that Tabitha Ritchie was gifted a decision there, but regardless, like, looked good in that fight. Who Tabitha Ritchie's nothing special, but like, she's good. She's good. And then, you know, Carla Esparza kind of washed, but still, like, made it look easy. And honestly, Carla Esparza probably beat Luana Pinheiro, let's be honest, before she retired. I just don't rate Pinheiro that high at all. She's slow for her size. I mean, I don't know. Okay grappler, I guess. If she had the talent to match just like how big she is, and, you know, for 115 anyways, maybe thered be something there, but I haven't been impressed. All right. Again, by the way, so many fights fizzled out. I mean, Jingo Park not on this one, or, you know, fights that were shifted around or canceled. I even wrote my notes, like the decimated fight night card, which again, on paper doesn't look that good. I think there might be a few fights that deliver. Like, I think this one goes the distance. And if this next one goes the distance, it's going to be a fun one, because let's be honest, when is Carlos Hernandez not in a fun fight? Like, win or lose, he's either in a close fight scramble fest or a good, well-rounded fight where, like, you'll see some of his boxing on display, but he'll just lose due to damage, just doesn't do enough. Or, man, that one win he had, what was it against? Yeah, Dennis Bondar. Who again? It's Dennis Bondar. Dennis Bondar coming into that one, though, respectfully, was 17-3, and okay, it was a decision, but if there was 2 more seconds on the clock, Carlos Hernandez would have absolutely gotten the TKO, because he like near murdered him with elbows, and a fun bloody celebration after that. I really like watching both of these fighters. I'm picking Peace of Mind Hyun Sung Park to win, but I think Carlos Hernandez is a pretty good underdog, because this is, I don't want to say like a huge step up in competition, but in the UFC, it's a step up in competition compared to Shannon Ross. And don't get me wrong, on the regional scene, he took on decent guys. Again, the Korean guys just seem to be just a little bit more, some of them aren't as technical. Some of the guys who develop on like the Chinese scene, for example, like Wulin Fang, Kunlun, even JCK. Now that's more of like a finesse. That's more of a skill, or more skill leagues. Whereas like some of the Korean regionals, Road, I mean, he came from Double G. He even fought in kickboxing and Crush. But Road FC amateurs, I don't know, they're not, a lot of them anyways, aren't as technical, but are like dog and just have a little bit more grit to them, have a little bit tougher chins. And he's well-rounded and tough. Like, hasn't been knocked out. He's undefeated. Has he been knocked down in fights? Yeah, but like not to the point where you're gonna say like, he's chinny. He's like the Oliveira getting knocked out. May not get knocked out, but knocked down. That's definitely not him. Solid grappler, good hands. Looked good on road to UFC. In the semifinals, took on a really good opponent and was challenged there. In the finals, kind of, it wasn't his fault he got a layup, but that was pretty easy competition. And then, Shannon Ross, a good test to come into the UFC, but still it's Shannon Ross. Again, Carlos Hernandez doesn't have that power in his shots, but does have really good boxing, volume striker, really, really good grappling. That loss against Ray Tetsura, he won one of the rounds, and I think the third round was close. I think he won the second, Sir won the first, and then like the third round, or maybe the third he won, I don't remember. But it was just a good like back and forth, scrambly, grappling affair there. And obviously, like, Tetsura is a wrestler. He doesn't really have hands, as we've seen in the UFC as well. I don't know if if Carlos Hernandez loses this one, I don't think he'll be out of the UFC. He was close at one point. I think he's just one of those guys because he's still like relatively young, out of Dana White Contender Series. Never going to probably move any higher in the rankings because he's like pretty low, but he'll be that guy that like young guys who come in, test themselves against. And I think he's got a couple more years of doing that. I am picking Hyun-Sung Park, like I said, but I think Carlos Hernandez is a good underdog if this does go the distance. If he can sneak out 2 rounds of having more control time and just doing, and even just matching the output, assuming like Hyun-Sung Park doesn't do employ visible damage on Carlos Hernandez, he could win a decision, right? So like Hyun-Sung Park, I'm picking because I think there's more ways to win, right? He's just more dangerous. He probably has a better chance of finding the finish than a Carlos Hernandez. But having said that, either of them have a chance to win a decision. I think I covered everything there in my notes. Denise Gomes against Elise Reed. Look, since that fight against, who was it? Yasmin Uregi and even Bruno Brazil, where she came in hot and just, knocked them both out. We're like, okay, we got another Andrade light here, right? And then just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, right? Like, okay, she got 2 wins, but she should have knocked both these girls out. Let's be perfectly honest. And Moore's got a good, Moore arguably won that fight too, right? I don't know. I haven't been really impressed with Denise in the UFC, but like if you lose to Elise Reed, put it this way. If she doesn't knock out Elise Reed, or if she loses, she might be cut from the UFC. She's not going to be, but like, let's be honest. At this point, you're just a good regional fighter in the UFC, but that's women's MMA in the UFC when freaking most of Invicta in 2025 is more entertaining. And Deep Jewels as well. 8-4, Elise Reed, Cage Fury champ, decent grappling, strikes from the outside. She shouldn't win this one. Let's be perfectly honest. Jinyu Frey and Jessica Penne were her last 2 wins. Like, goddamn. Yeah. Denise Gomes. Let's bring back the knockout, baby. Let's bring back the knockout. Luana Santos against Tainara Lisboa. This is another interesting one where like Lisboa actually, and again, I don't bet on women's MMA in the UFC. Regional scene's a different story. Don't bet on women's MMA in UFC. This one's actually like pretty close because Luana Santos, kind of small for 125. She's moving up to 135 here. And Lisboa's like not huge for the division, but is noticeably a tad bigger. Santos has not faced the best competition in the UFC despite going on that little run. But having said that, like the skill is there. Like she's got some good judo throws. She's got some good jiu-jitsu. She's got good striking. Not a lot of power. And when she faced a better opponent, mind you, on 2 months' notice, which not a lot to prepare for a fight, but it wasn't like a week's notice by any means. Casey O'Neal's not like anything special, but Casey O'Neal just showed that okay, like there's levels to this. You took out the freaking Agapovas, the Stephanie Ager, and the Juliana freaking Miller, who you knocked out. Okay, I know Juliana Miller looked okay in her last fight. She didn't even look good in her last fight. Let's be perfect. She won her last fight, but yeah, so the skill is there. She's not threatening, and she wasn't even that threatening at 125. Moving up a weight class against someone who's like pretty good as well on a 5-0 in her last 5 fights. Decent jiu-jitsu and also some power in her mitts as well. look, I mean, anyone can sub Jessica Rose Clark. Beating Oliveira was pretty good. Shit, that's literally the only notable wins on her resume, though. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm still gonna go Luana Santos, but again, like $2. See what happens. I don't know. If it was at 125, I'd be a little bit more confident, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's check in on the comments here. I've been neglecting the chat. Let's see. Let me scroll up here. Ben, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yo, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Good to see you. What's up, Chris? Which guy? Which guy? I got Pennington. Good morning, Chris. I'm one underdog. Because I'm doing my UFC picks and predictions. Pretty evident since the stream's going on. Random ass world clock in the chat. Yeah, dude, everyone's international here. It's never too early or late for City Life. That's true. That's true. No, we're jumping over to we're gonna cover the last few prelims of Octagon and then the whole main card. The stream's already up, so go check it out or go like it already. I went Park here. Captain, good to see you. Good to see you. What's up, Chris? Jeez. This Octagon fight is actually a Dricus Duplessis fight. No, the prelims of Octagon have been good. I had some stuff to get done this morning because yesterday I didn't have power the whole day, so I just had to catch up on some fucking life shit. So sorry for running a little bit late, but missing a few prelims. Obviously, we're going to get a little FOMO because Octagon always has good fights, but we'll cover most of the card. 78 to 80% of the card. I got Gomes here. Yeah, dude, right in the beginning. I mean, look at here. Where's the comment? Boom! How's it going, K1? Back-to-back women's MMA fights. Classic UFC Apex. Honestly, though, I think Gomes is going to get a finish. So at least one of the three will have a finish. Yeah, I don't. Again, you guys, I don't follow the UFC like you guys follow the UFC. I watch fights. Too many women's MMA fights on this card. Yeah, I think it would have been a little bit more balanced if some of the other fights didn't fall through. UFC's not on right now, buddy. We're just doing a preview video. I'm doing Octagon in a little bit. Like you guys can see my Octagon live stream is on right now. We'll jump to Octagon when this is done. All right, let's get to this next one. We got Connor Matheus against Yadir Devel, who looked good at Dana White Contender Series and actually has looked good on the regional scene. But I do remember going into Dana White Contender Series and his fight there. People still picking him, but still saying like he may not be as. Don't believe like all the hype, right? He's a little bit overhyped, but so far, you know, he hasn't given me a reason to doubt him yet. Although there have been some fights where he hasn't put it all together. So I am picking him to win, but let's be honest, if he was going up against a better opponent, I'd be a little less bullish. 2 KOT goes 2 submissions, 4 decisions. He's pretty well-rounded, but his striking is what wins him fights. Like, he outstrikes most of his opponents. Developed in Fury, which is awesome. 5-0 in Fury. Again, look good in Contender Series. Look better everywhere, but primarily on the feet. And then again, didn't face the best guys in Fury, but overall, his resume looks pretty good given how he just continued to develop, continued to take on better competition. Has a win over Michael Aswell, who's a very, very good fighter. And did the UFC sign him? I know he didn't win his Contender Series fight. Very close to signed him, or anyways, he's one of the next guys up. So that win has aged pretty well. And I mean, came over to North America, fought in freaking Bayou FC. Developed in Fury and in Bayou as well. Connor Matheus, 7-3 as a pro. Lost to Delgado. Delgado's good. Lost to Bazooka. Oof. You can't lose to Dennis Bazooka. Yair Farias, like, came in at 10-0. Sure. This is how I view Connor Matheus. I think he's like too good for the regional scene, not quite good enough for the UFC. One of them tweeners, as we call in like the hockey world. Some of the guys who are like too good for the AHL, but and, you know, say like the Swedish league or the Russian league, but just aren't, you know, quite there in the NHL. Again, the New England Cartel had some steam a few years ago, but really doesn't anymore. He hasn't faced that great opponents on his rise, doesn't really have the hands, has the submissions. Like, he's a threat on the ground. I just don't think he's going to get to the ground here. I don't think he's going to find those entries. Yeah. I mean, look at his 1-8, bro. I know you want to know, but like, come on. I don't know. I've just never been super confident in Connor Matheus anyway, so we're going to go with DeVale. What's up, PPV plug? I want Chris Gray. I don't like dive into those, usually those type of stuff. I've been slacking even on the other news for member streams and stuff. Anyways, Jared Gordon, Thiago Moisés, 19-8 for Thiago Moisés, 20-7 for Jared Gordon. It's funny because when I think of Thiago Moisés, I think, okay, he's the older fighter, and though like he may have more miles on him, you look at both these guys head to head, and it's like, okay, Jared Gordon has like the same amount of fights. Jared Gordon is 6 years older. But do I think, and Jared Gordon has been like knocked out and has taken damage throughout his career. Like, he's been knocked out 4 times. 11 decision wins, 7 KO TKOs, 2 submissions. It's funny because when I think of Jared Gordon, I don't think that he has like a lot of power, but he actually is a pretty good boxer. Good, obviously, control time type of fighter. He's good in the clinch. He's strong. I think against like the higher level strikers, obviously he gets like exposed a little bit, but like his boxing's good overall, and he's confident in the pocket. And at 36 years of age, like, still has speed. You know, like, he's not the fastest guy, but like, Jared Gordon for me is still in that like plateau Jared Gordon like stage of his career. The win one, lose one, you know, competitive fights, getting robbed in decisions left, right, and center. Headbutts here and there. You know what I mean? I haven't like I don't think he's in the decline just yet, and maybe this fight is the one that we like. It's noticeable, you know what I mean? Whereas Thiago Moisés is no longer in his prime, in my opinion. Do I think he's like, you know, low end nose diving BJ Penn style, Tony Ferguson style? No, but like Thiago Moisés is not the Thiago Moisés he was when he came into the UFC. And having said that, he wasn't like a world beater then anyways. Love the run that Jared Gordon had in Cage Free UFC. Absolutely ripped up that organization. Had a close fight against Nazar Hakparas. That was a great fight. Got a win against Mark Madsen. Again, Bobby Green situation, Paddy Pimblett situation. Beat Leonardo Santos, which is a good win. So honestly, he's had a pretty decent career in the UFC. Never going to be champion, but we'll kind of hang around that 15 ranking. Thiago Moisés, 19-8. Yeah, he's win one, lose one, win one, lose one. 3-2 in his last 5. 4 KO TKO, 8 submission. Let's be honest, he doesn't have the same striking ability as Jared Gordon. That's like, oof. But he has nasty submissions, and he is pretty tough out there. Yeah, slow on the feet as well. I mean, basics. Can hold his own before he gets into the clinch and tries to take you to the ground, or will land some short shots in the clinch up against the cage. He's nasty on the ground, though, and he's been able to sneak out decisions throughout his career. It's funny because I think that I always think that he had like a better run in the UFC, but 8-6, man. He's been on the win one, lose one pattern lately. But in fairness, he has lost to like good opponents. Benoit Saint Denis, Ludovic Klein. And then was able to take out like Trey Ogden and Mitch Ramirez. Mitch Ramirez is a pretty good win, although I just don't think Mitch Ramirez is high-level UFC caliber. Costa was a good one, although Costa was still kind of, developing. Alex Hernandez, good win. Bobby Green, good win. I mean, these are good wins at that time. So, but again, that was 5 years ago. I'm going to go with Thiago Moisés. Getting the sub, rear naked choke, or just controlling Jared Gordon on the ground. I like Jared Gordon's wrestling. I think Moisés is not going to risk it for the biscuit and fucking box with Jared Gordon here, or even try to win the clinch battle. I think he's just going to try to take us to the ground and grab and get the back. I think that's going to be the focus. I think that should be the focus. But I ain't no coach, but that's what I'm banking on Thiago Moisés doing. Jared Gordon's probably going to win though. And then JL is going to come in the chat and be like, yo, what's up, Isha? How's it going? It's been a while. Although I'm pretty sure JL likes Thiago Moisés as well. So we'll see. Flash. Gordon been acting salty. Like, yo, what's up, Anthony? Good to see you, my friend. What's up, Denial? Good to see everyone in the chat here. All right, we have Matheus Camilo against Gabe Green. So this was the guy who fought Nabotov, who was the guy who, like, I think in a press conference called out Dana White and said, like, or didn't call him out, but asked Dana White, like, to put him in a fight show. He was like, I'm undefeated, put me on a card and then sign me to the UFC. Let me like prove myself to you, whatever. So Dana White put him on the Korean Zombies card and put Camilo up against him, and Camilo actually beat him. So the UFC signed Camilo, which was awesome. 9-2 as a pro, not the biggest light heavyweight, but pretty sound. Decent defensive grappling, not the best wrestler, like was controlled a little bit in this fight, but what I like about him is attack. Like, he won this fight because he did more damage, right? He was out-controlled, but he did more damage, which is what I like about him. And he was out-controlled, but was able to get out of those positions and then made up for it by, you know, attacking. He knew the assignment, as our friend Jay Wolf says. He's 5-0 in his last 5 fights, 4 KO, TKO, 2 submissions, 3 decisions. And what I love about him is he fought everywhere. 3-1 in Fury here in North America. Tough enough. Korean Zombies League. LXF, which isn't the best league, but it's a North American regional league. XFC, Shuto Brazil. You know what I mean? Like, he's fought all over in good regional shows, and he's fought good competition throughout his entire career. Gabe Green is a tough first opponent, but Gabe Green has been so injured the last 3 years. I don't know what Gabe Green we're going to be seeing in the cage. He hasn't fought in 2 years, and he got knocked out by Brian Battle, and I think faced some injuries after that, or like went into that fight with some injuries. Actually put up a good fight against Ian Gary, let's be perfectly honest, but back then Ian Gary was still developing, but apparently, like, he was dealing with some injuries before and after that camp as well. He beat Johan Linnes, which, hey, Johan Linnes was undefeated at that time, and he knocked him out, so credit to him. That was 3 years ago. And then 4 years ago, right? So he's so inactive. Beat Phil Rowe. Do we really care? It's just unfortunate that he's that his career is, I don't want to say derailed, but, you know, has not reached the potential that it even could have come close to due to injuries. So, assuming he's healthy for this one, he's a pressure fighter. Kind of attacks takedowns, will continue to walk you down. I mean, who are some comparisons that we recently watched? You know what, like, I guess kind of like Power Bar, Marc-Andre Barrios, just pressure forwards with like a little bit of a better chin. So it's going to be interesting to see Camilo fight him primarily, I believe, on the back foot, unless Camilo commands the center of the cage early. So I am going to go Camilo on this one. Now, if Gabe Green was active, if Gabe Green was, you know, winning, I'd be like, yeah, Gabe Green, I've seen him fight better competition, and I like that pressure style, whether he wrestles or whether he just, like, takes away any space or anything that Camilo can try to set up. Takes away any of the distance, because Camilo will try to attack the legs as well. I just don't trust Gabe Green after a little while. I need to see it to believe it. If he comes into this one and dominates, okay, like the next Gabe Green fight, I'm assuming he makes a quick turnaround, which Gabe Green probably won't, but then I'll be a little bit more trusting in him. But I'm going with Camilo on this one. Julian Erosa against Melquizael Costa. I'm going with Costa, but I have to give Julian Erosa, Juicy J, some credit. A late career run here now again. I think anyone would have beaten Darren Elkins at this point in his career. It was kind of hard to watch. But again, left no doubt. Beat Christian Rodriguez. That was awesome as the underdog. And had a really good win against Ricardo Ramos as well. Sure, before then, got knocked out by Padilla. Padilla's turned out to actually be better than I think a lot of us thought he was. And got knocked out by Alex Caceres. But you know what? Alex Caceres, he's still good. A lot of people rip on him because of the Kron Gracie incident. But everyone has been subbed before, okay? Costa's gotten so much better in the last 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. Came into the UFC still pretty green, but very talented. Cardio very much still an issue. Like, third round, he all the technique, all the speed, everything that he brings in the first and second round, it's just a -5 speed in the third. In every single one of his UFC fights that have gone the distance, guys. Every single one. Even his last 3 and his last fight against Christian Rodriguez, which, again, I think he won the first 2 rounds quite handedly. And then the third round, it was like, or even halfway through the second, it was like, oh, man, he's slowing down. And Rodriguez is like the opposite. Rodriguez, like, slow start, ends well. Even if he's, huffing and puffing, he's still, like, which I hate to say this, he's got some dog in him, okay? Looked great against Andre Fili. Looked great against Shailan. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name because I know I'm going to fuck it up upon first read. Steve Garcia, no shame in losing him. Steve Garcia, by the way, is on a hell of a run right now. Sorry to derail this, guys, but like not enough people are talking about him, and like, fuck UFC, give him a fight. Wait, does he have a fight booked? Yes, Calvin Kattar. Okay, never mind. I forgive you, UFC. Oh man, Calvin Kattar's tough, but like, fuck, he's good. And look at his streak. Knocked out Chase Hooper. Knocked out, oh man. Nurden. What? Oh, this dude. I'm like, how do I not know who this guy is? Okay. Nurden Bieke or whatever. I forget how to pronounce his name, but yes. Buddy who like ripped through Wulin Fang with some questionable opponents. But anyways, getting sidetracked here. But dude, he's knocked out so many good guys that I can't wait to see Steve Garcia's next fight against Calvin Kattar. But anyways, I'm going Costa here. I think first 2 rounds, he either beats Julian Erosa, and even if he slows down in the third, Julian Erosa, his striking's always been at range. He's a good wrestler and grappler, yet he gets taken down easy. So I think Melky Costa will either try to take his back if he does go for the takedowns and mix it up there. And I think he's just the faster distance striker with a little bit more finesse and a little bit more power in his strikes at this stage in his career. So yeah, he's going to beat Julian Erosa in my opinion. Nursulton Ruziboev against Dustin Stoltzfus. Ruziboev, we're going with him on this one. It's insane how many fights he's had in his career, and he's only 31 years of age. Kind of like our friend in Wulin Fang, like early on hasn't fought the best guys, but it's like a mix of like absolute can, really good opponent, absolute can, really good opponent. And when you got over 40 fights in your pro MMA career, like I don't care if like some of them are going to be cans, that's still fucking experience. And it's not like he got complacent, like went on, runs where he only fought shitty opponents, right? Maybe like early on, but like his career or his record wasn't anything special either. He's the big favorite in this one. 4-1 in his last 5 fights, back at 185. He did try to fight at 170, and we saw how that went against Joaquin Buckley. Came back and got a good win in the second round in his last fight. I mean, wasn't there like some eye pokes and shit that like went on with this one? Regardless, Cedric Dumas, like fuck that guy, and he's not that great of a fighter. Anyways, 13 KO TKOs, 20 submissions. Talk about a well-rounded finishing machine. And what I like about him is he attacks. On the feet, he's offensive. On the ground, he's offensive. Ruziboev does not want to go to decisions because he loses when he goes to decisions, ladies and gentlemen, because he just goes balls to the wall in the first 2 rounds. And not that he gasses tremendously, but it's just like if he doesn't finish his opponents, like I've thrown everything and the kitchen sink at you. What else is there? And usually he'll just end up losing the fight because opponents are better overall. Dustin Stoltzfus, he ain't that guy, bro. He ain't that guy. 16-6 as a pro, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Is coming off a win. 3 KO TKO, 6 submissions, so pretty good grappler. 6 decisions. That's the thing. If this goes decision, bro. If this goes decision, this is like the kryptonite for Ruziboev. 3-5 in the UFC. Beat Marc-Andre Barrio, like short circuited there in his last fight, which Marc-Andre Barrio maybe a little chinny, but motherfucking crack skulls with his elbows. I think we were all surprised that Stoltzfus knocked out Marc-Andre Barrio in this one. Like I'm hoping Marc-Andre Barrio is not as chinny as like I think, but like if Stoltzfus knocked him out, then yeah, he might be. Before then, good win against Soriano. Good win against Dwight Grant, but like Soriano, Dwight Grant, not the best guys. Lost to Mershart, lost to Abus Magomedov, lost to Bruno Ferreira. I mean, if you want to, Rodolfo Vieira, Kyle Dawkins, like, man, these are the guys you have to beat, man. These are the guys you have to beat. he might have saved his career with that win, honestly. But we'll see. If he loses this one, I don't know how many more fights Dustin Stoltzfus has left in the UFC. Probably another one. We'll see how this one goes. I think Ruziboev beats him everywhere. I think he beats him on the feet. I think he beats him on the ground. I think he finishes him. I do not think this goes to the judges' scorecards because that is kryptonite for Ruziboev. He ain't gonna let Stoltzfus get there. Anyways, that's my pick. Sodiq Yusuff versus Mairon Santos. I love Yusuff as the underdog on this one. So yes, again, you guys are the gambling experts, not me, but I love this underdog. 100%. I dropped $5 on him. Let's fucking go, Sodiq Yusuff. Because Sodiq Yusuff is good. He's good. He's fought better guys. He's arguably more experienced given that the level of competition he's fought in the last 5 years is better than the guys that Mairon Santos has fought. Even the last 3 years, let's be perfectly honest. And yeah, he's 2-3 in his last 5, but the guys he's fought have been really fucking good. Title challenger Diego Lopez. Edson Barbosa, he did have his moments in that one, but, you know, Edson Barbosa's Edson Barbosa. He probably should have won that fight. Yusuff, let's be perfectly honest. But almost 2 years ago, Barbosa still had a little bit of gas left in the tank. But it wasn't a bad fight. Looked really good against Don Shainis. Now it is, you know, Don Shainis. Schooled out Caceres, in my opinion. I think, you know, Caceres maybe won one round. Lost to Arnold Allen, no shame in that. Sodiq Yusuff hits hard, good boxer, good takedown defense, can resort to wrestling, but I mean, he likes to fight in the pocket. Now, kind of opposite striking style to that of Mairon Santos, who is like stupidly technical, that if he keeps fighting like that in the UFC, he's going to get burned because he was almost burned in his last fight. Now, I do think he won 2 rounds upon rewatching that fight, but it was very close, and I wouldn't have been upset if Francis Marshall won the fight. Like, I'm no fucking judge, right? But anyways, if he threw more volume in this fight, he would have won. He was just waiting and waiting for that perfect knockout shot that he's been able to get on the regional scene, and he just wasn't aggressive when he hurt his opponent. So hopefully he's polished that, because you're going to get burned in the UFC against guys like a Sodiq Yusuff if you don't capitalize on throwing volume. There's a time and a place to hunt that sniper shot, and that's not at every moment of every fight in the UFC. Now, Francis Marshall was his first fight in the UFC after winning the Ultimate Fighter against Con Offley, who's a good grappler and okay pocket boxer. He brutalized him in that one. I just thought he was going to be a lot more aggressive than he was. I don't know why, given how he fights against Francis Marshall. Maybe just like eager to come into the UFC and prove himself. He's going to have to be aggressive against Sodiq Yusuff, because if Sodiq Yusuff continues to walk him down, Sodiq Yusuff will catch him or take him to the ground. Now, Mairon Santos is tall. He's lanky. But, like, he's not much bigger than Sodiq, right? So, oh, man, this one's tough. So, I bet on Yusuff, but I am going to trust that Mairon Santos and his team just told him it's okay to fucking walk forward and throw, man. You don't have to be on the back foot all the time. You don't have to always counter. The left hook will come. The front kick will come. The knees and elbows will come. Maybe initiate a clinch for once and actually throw some elbows. There was a lot of clinching in the last fight as well. So going Santos on this one. But I think this is going to be a really good fight. I want to say someone's going down in this one. But every time I get giddy, smile like this, and confidently say that, the fight is just like boring as fuck. So I'm trusting that Santos polished up those things, because I think he has tremendous takedown defense. He's good at scrambling and getting back up to his feet. Is his like jiu-jitsu anything special? No, but like he never has to roll because he's scrambling, gets back up to his feet. He just can't let Sodiq dictate this fight. So I love Sodiq Yusuff as the underdog. I think the only reason he's the underdog is because he's on a 2-fight losing streak. If he even had one more win here, he'd probably be the favorite based off Santos's last performance. I just hope it's a good fight so that both these guys' stocks continue to elevate. All right. Are we already on the... Okay, co-main... Okay, before we get to the best fight on the card, let's check on some of the comments. Sean, what's going on, Sean? Good to see you. This fight's sad as fuck. Luke's delivered it again. Let's yo, shout out to Anthony Gansko, by the way, and go check out his channel as he covers mixed martial arts as well. on his channel. Thank you so much, dude. Over a year of being a member on City Life, and Anthony's just been a big supporter. Even some of our community, Anthony could have like met at MMA events. So shout out to Anthony. Love the support. Thank you so much for stopping by. Camilo was looking for a fight. That's right. That's what it was. Against the guy that was at the 308 press conference. Yep. Costa gonna be a banger. I got Milky Dude. Cater seems not washed, but just not the same level he was. And man, he can't seem to learn to wrestle. None of those, well, very few of those cartel guys learn to wrestle. Let's be perfectly honest. Other than our friend here, Connor Matheus, who only knows how to grapple. But even then, is it wrestling or is it just grappling? Cedric the dumbass Dumas. Yep. It's insane how he even made 170 for the Buckley fight. He even said the weight cut was brutal. He's huge. You're not that guy, pal. You're not my buddy, friend. Super Sodiq, bebe. Yusuff should win on paper. Anthony Smith has him winning for sure. Facts. All right. We're going with the Bear Jew. Dude, this is my throwaway pick. Honestly, if you guys watch my shit to take my advice, you're fucked in the head, first of all, okay? So let's just get that out of the way. And B, this is a throwaway pick. Do not take my advice on this one. Dude, Rodolfo Bellato minus 550? I swear, Paul Craig doesn't do himself any favors in this, but like, the odds are like this not because of anything that this man is, okay? It's only because it's Paul Craig. If it was anybody else, even some no-name call-up on the regional scene, he would be like a minus 220. Because Bellato ain't it, bro. He almost got finished by Poteria. That, I don't care if you win, that alone should get you cut from the UFC. Alone should get you cut from the UFC. Big whoop, man. Your fight against Jimmy Crute. Okay, you knocked out some no-name on Dana White Contender Series. In LFA, he actually looked good. Upon rewatching those fights and actually looking into some of his opponents, it was like, oh yeah, and it's not your fault. You just, at that time, didn't have the best competition for your development, and it shows in the UFC. He doesn't have very good striking. He's a very strong wrestler. That's the thing. Like, he's a big 205er. He can control you. He can get his arms around your belly, and, you know, not in Montreal, but you throw some stomps, throw some knees, control you. He's a little chinny, and which isn't going to matter in this fight. And yeah, Poteria was schooling him until he wasn't. And Poteria's just, I don't think he's that great of a fighter either. But anyways, come on, Paul Craig. The 185 experiment, the middleweight experiment didn't work, okay? And I know your only win in your last 5 fights was against Andre Muniz, who I don't know why anyone has any confidence in Muniz anymore, let's be perfectly honest. I hope that he just doesn't walk around on the outside trying to throw a jab like he did against Bo Nickel in that 3-round fight. I hope whether he gets knocked out on the entry or not, Bear Jew, get in, take this motherfucker to the ground, submit him, retire, or I don't know, cut some crazy promo, because there's no other fighter that gets me so hyped for their fights at like the weigh-ins, at the face-offs, at everything, to only fight like Paul Craig, right? But I think that's why we love the meme that is Paul Craig. I have no confidence in Bellato in his UFC career moving forward. Do I have confidence in his hands over that of a Paul Craig? Yes. And if he defends Paul Craig's takedowns, he's going to just bum rush him in looking like a regional 205er, but a regional 205er can knock out Paul Craig. Having said that, like I said, I'm swinging on this one. Throwaway pick. Do not take my advice on this one. Just my only piece of wisdom coming out of this is don't trust this guy moving forward, okay? Do not trust this guy moving forward. Main event of the evening, Gilbert Burns against Michael Morales. I think Gilbert Burns 3 years ago beats this guy, man. The Gilbert Burns that fought Khamzat Chimaev beats this guy. And in fairness to Gilbert Burns, he's fought Sean Brady, Jack Della Maddalena, and Bilal Muhammad, who apparently like broke his arm or he had like a shoulder injury. Like into the round, he still lasted all through because Bilal Muhammad can't finish a fly. I don't even think Bilal Muhammad could squash a fly, man. I think he'd stomp on it and it would still somehow survive to the 5th round. But anyways, or the 3rd in this case. So yes, he's faced some really good competition, so I'm not going to like knock on him too much, but he just hasn't looked the same since the Chimaev fight. And yeah, made easy work of Neil Magny. Made easy work of Jorge Masvidal, but he made easy work like employing his jiu-jitsu against both those guys, which is like, well, yeah, Neil Magny's just he's kind of like Paul Craig of the 170 division, just a little bit more game to fight everyone. I mean, I got nothing but respect for Magny, but I guess you beat him if your jiu-jitsu's better, right? And that's what Burns did. And I guess you beat him if your striking's better too. Neil Magny's just kind of meh everywhere, but has dog and heart, I guess. Fucking love Magny. Anyways, and then yeah, I'm sorry, washed Jorge, who doesn't have jiu-jitsu anyways, right? So like he should have made easy work of these two guys, and he did. So credit to Burns, but. Yeah, man, has faced some injuries where he always was kind of small for 170, made up for it with just being like fucking yoked. He's looking more like a near 40-year-old now, okay? Let's just say that. Not as quick anymore. The power is probably still there, but the striking was never his bread and butter unless he connected because he was just super quick in and out of the pocket. And he doesn't have that speed anymore. He's going to be undersized against Morales, who has the reach advantage, who has that kill shot power, who has good takedown defense. And I do think if Burns gets him to the ground, Morales will just be able to scramble, maybe not to like the best positions where Burns maybe could sneak out around like controlling him. But if Burns wants to scrap, which like Dorino always wants to scrap a little bit in fights, right? Unless Burns like follows game plan to the T that is like, do not get hit by this guy and submit him, which I don't think he's going to stick to that because Gilbert Burns is a fucking G, not in a gi anymore, baby. I think Morales is going to catch him or just win 2 out of the 3 rounds, or I guess 5 rounds. So 3 out of the 5 rounds, maybe even 4 out of the 5 rounds on damage. If he doesn't knock out Gilbert Burns, which, you know, Jack Della TKO'd him. He might, but I'm more confident in Morales winning a decision. Burns has gone, has had way more experience, but in that, I mean, he doesn't even look like the young Gilbert anymore. He just had a lot of miles, man, and a lot of wars. But what a career. Never got submitted. That's fucking cool, man. I mean, he was a jiu-jitsu ace coming into the UFC. And what I like about him, too, is he came in as a jiu-jitsu ace, way lighter, put on some pounds and started working on his boxing, was able to start getting some knockouts, which was pretty cool. And, you know, earned a title shot against Kamaru Usman, beating Maya and Woodley, who were top contenders still at that time. So I'm going with Morales. I'm going with the new blood. I don't know how many more fights Gilbert Burns has, man. Especially against these type of guys. Maybe he has like 2-3 more fights left in the UFC, but he might have to enter the years where it's just like, Burns, you're 1-4 in your last 5. Go against guys who are your age and respectively like at your career level right now. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for him though. I mean, I like Morales, but just like when I'm watching like Deep or some of these Japanese MMA shows and you see like the Unk, you know, a 44-year-old against the 19-year-old prospect, undefeated, 44-year-old who's had like 50 fights and is like well under 500 right now. You root for the Unk, all right? Burns is not quite there yet, nor will he ever have a record under 500, but still. We're going with Morales in this one. All right, safe parlay, Morales, Ruziboev, Costa. Degenerate parlay, which I think we should just call the smart parlay, is Yusuff, Hernandez, and Lisboa. And then like the absolute degenerate fucking like sewer degenerate parlay would be Burns, Craig, and Matheus, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, Anthony gifting 5 memberships. Let's go. Thank you so much, brother. Holy shit. Thank you so much, Anthony. Bro, shout out to Anthony gifting 5 memberships. Last week we gave out 10 on the channel, so I can't give any more. This month, But in June, we'll be giving out another 10 memberships as well. I know I was supposed to give 5 more out at the end of the month, but it was Sean Moody's birthday. It was Sean Moody's birthday. Thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back to the comments here. You're not my guy, buddy. You're not my buddy, bro. Paul Craig is the lineal light heavyweight champion. What is the DGen? What's the say parlay, bro? You heard it. You heard it. Safe Morales, Ruziboev, Costa, DGen, Yusuff, Hernandez, Lisboa. The DGen, sewer DGen is Burns, Craig, and Matheus. Paul fighting for his roster spot. I know. He might retire if he gets like brutally knocked out, dude. I hate watching Bellato, but Paul Craig is eye bleach sometimes. Paul Craig is my favorite fighter of all time. Holy shit, what a KO and Octagon. Dude, Octagon KO after KO after KO. I picked the wrong day to skip the prelims. Paul Craig, armbar triangle always in play, but I don't know if it's going to last long enough for it. And dude has no neck to snatch, though, so not going to be an armbar. Cheers, buddy. Co-main. I really hope Burns gets the win. Shit would be early prelims on a numbered card. Bro, if he gets the quick sub, though, it's deserving of the spot. Paul Craig beats the 185 champ, or beat the 185 champs, so I got him.
Exactly that.
Insane knockout in Octagon, 19 seconds. Morales looking scary. Threw a few bucks on Gilbert and Paul. I know, it's so sad. It's so sad. Morales has a good takedown, or has good takedown defense, but when he is taken down, he has looked like he just got his blue belt. That is a very good point. Off his back, like especially, and this is where I noticed it the most. When someone's in his guard or when he's in half guard, he can scramble a little bit better. But when someone takes side control, it's like he's like stunned. He's like, oh shit! Like I noticed he has trouble with side control. Be careful with this one. He almost KO'd Hamza. Oh yeah, I know. Again, my thing is like, I just haven't seen the same Burns since. But that Burns was awesome. And that was one of the... God, that was such a great fight. Burns be throwing them bitches. Morales' best win is Trevin Giles. That is true. Burns might sun him. I think Sodiq is like a gift underdog on the card. Fuck that shit, vintage birds incoming. Mr. Bombastic shit ahead. Aspen Rain, not in the AM, bro. Baby Sharp MMA, welcome. Dude, the Leafs are going to lose. It is written. It is done. The instant switch between the attitude from the fans between game 5 and 6 is pretty hilarious. Dude, the Toronto Maple Leafs tied the series, or sorry, the series was tied. They lost. The Florida Panthers tied the series, and the Maple Leafs fans are throwing jerseys on the ice, fucking burning them on social media. It is amazing. Fuck the Leafs, bro. Fuck the Leafs. The 205, yes, not 185. He beat Unk. Oh, it makes me so happy, Sean. Gilbert was beating JDM until the end of the fight, or wasn't he? He looked good in the first round, and then second and third, it was kind of like, meow. Max Holzer, next fight being announced. Nice. 19 seconds KO in Octagon. Hell yeah. There's been a lot of good knockouts this morning in Octagon. And speaking of Octagon, we still got a few more prelims left on Octagon. So we're going to jump over to Octagon, cover the rest of the prelims, cover the main card, but love the green leaf. Maybe I'll step outside quick, partake in one of them, and then come back for Octagon. I think so. But this is one of those that either of them, if they land clean, could hurt each other. But I just have a feeling this one's going at least 3 rounds. But that's my feeling. Both these guys have finishing ability. All right, guys, let's go to Octagon. Let me fire it up here. I'll be there in like 5 to 10 minutes. I know I missed a chunk of the prelims, guys. I had some shit to do this morning. 15 hours of no power yesterday. And I'm not going to lie, after streaming, it was like, I got my power back, jumped right on to cover Luke's, and then went to bed. So I saw Exploring the Cause live right now, so I just wanted to say what's up in his chat, because he supports this channel a lot. Hell yeah, see you there for Octagon. Holzer doing the face-off right now, dude. I swear, he beats this guy, and it's Dana White Contender Series or just right to the UFC. God, man, YouTube has been buggy lately. Just loading stuff, like, not even just videos, like everything else. But anyways, I noticed that yesterday. There's never locks in mixed martial arts. This ain't boxing, brother. All right. But again, you guys are the experts, not me. I don't believe there's locks in mixed martial arts. That's why when I see boxing odds, which by the way, like, and I should say minus 800, fuck that, bro. That is a slap in the face. That is a slap in the face. That's some boxing odds shit. Garbage. So yeah, I put $2 on Burns, 100%. He's fighting Khalid Taha. Dude, I'm so excited for that fight. Holzer's so good, man. And even though, like, he's a better grappler than he is a striker, like, his striking keeps getting better and better, and he's just so game to brawl. Anyways, guys, here it is. We'll be live here in just a few minutes. I'll be covering the rest of the prelims. We'll go live before, it says like 15 minutes. We'll probably be live in like 5-10 minutes max. So there it is. Join us for Octagon. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let me know your picks. Let me know your predictions. What did you like? What did you dislike? If you took the degen or safe or the degen sewer slime degenerate piece of shit human degenerate parlay that I definitely took, let me know if you won anything when it hits. We'll see you guys in a few moments for the rest of Octagon. Then we'll be live for UFC, and then a little pancreas blood for like 30 fucking fights all night, ladies and gentlemen. We're going all night. Back on the other side. Come join us for Octagon as we start coverage as they continue their card. Always remember,
just because you get more picks right doesn't mean you're better at predictions than me.
I don't know if it worked, but if it did, you heard the man. You heard the man.